Hello and welcome back to another video on the CyberSec Migrant YouTube channel. And it's been a long time since we did anything like this. We've actually been doing a lot more of the videos for the podcast, but we've been getting a lot of questions people have been asking. Today, we're tackling a question that we get asked all the time. How do I get into cybersecurity with no experience? Cybersecurity might sound like a field where you need endless technical skills and years of experience, but let me tell you, that's not always the case. In fact, there are many ways to break into cybersecurity, even if you're just starting from scratch. So whether you're switching from a different industry or fresh out of school, stick around because this episode is packed with practical advice, insider tips, and resources to help you kickstart your cybersecurity journey. And now, let's go. Hey, CyberSec Migrant listeners, if you're enjoying the show, help us spread the word. Share the CyberSec Migrant podcast with your friends, your colleagues, and your network. It's the best way to help others discover our awesome content and to join the conversation. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and any other place where you get your podcast, so you never miss an episode. And do hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Your support helps us keep bringing you more valuable content, insights, and stories, and all these tips from the world of cybersecurity. And thank you for tuning in. And now, let's get back to today's episode. So first up, why should you consider a career in cybersecurity? Well, for starters, the industry is booming. According to recent reports, cybersecurity jobs are expected to grow by about 31% over the next decade. And with cyber threats evolving constantly, companies are desperate for skilled professionals. So what does that mean for you? It means that there's a ton of job opportunities, great salaries, and the chance to work in a field where you're genuinely making a difference. So that's why you should choose cybersecurity, if you haven't thought about it already yet. And let's talk skills. What are the skills you need? What are the skills you might need to focus on? You might think you need to be a programming guru or you have years of experience with hacking or all of that stuff. But the truth is, cybersecurity is a really broad field and there's several roles that require several skills. Just like you would, think of any company. You've got accountants and HR personnel and salespeople and marketing people. There's different people that make it work. It's the same thing with cybersecurity. There's different areas, there's different skill sets that are required across the length and breadth of the cybersecurity industry. However, there are a few skills you should focus on as you start. First, problem solving. Cybersecurity is basically like solving complex puzzles, So if you like finding solutions, you're already halfway there. So problem solving is an important skill to have. Second, communication. Surprisingly, you find that explaining complex security concepts to non-tech teams is a big part of the job. Because most of the time in your job as a cybersecurity professional, you're interfacing with people who are not in cybersecurity, so they don't understand ones and zeros or the nuts and bolts of what we do in cybersecurity. So you should be able to pass that information across to them like a fifth grader. And thirdly, basic technical knowledge. So which means you have to know the fundamentals, like how do networks work? What does an IP address mean? What does it do? But you don't need to be an expert right away. And then fourthly, continuous learning. If you check out the podcast, the Cybersecurity Migrant podcast, there's a card up here to that playlist. Every guest I've had on that podcast has said continuous learning is so important because it's just the nature of the industry. Cybersecurity is constantly evolving. So being a lifelong learner will definitely serve you well. A bonus tip, think of these 4 skills: problem solving, communication, basic technical knowledge, and continuous learning as your foundational skills. Once you've got these down, then you can dive deeper into specialized skills like threat detection, vulnerability assessment, or even ethical hacking. So now let's talk about a few entry-level roles that are in cybersecurity that are great for you starting out in the industry with not a lot of technical experience. You're looking to move into the industry. Let's talk about some skills that are great for you. First, security analyst. This is one of the most common entry-level jobs you can find in cybersecurity. It's a very common job. Almost every cybersecurity company or even non-cybersecurity companies would have a role for a security analyst. It's an entry-level role that requires you to monitor and assess security systems and respond to incidents as they happen. So it means that you are the foot soldier, you're the front line of defense for cybersecurity for any enterprise, which is why there's so many of those jobs available out there. Another role you can think of, which is sort of entry level, is a compliance officer. Because if you're more into policy and regulations and guidelines, why do we do what we do? Do we have regulatory requirements we have to meet and all of that? Then a compliance officer role focuses on making sure that organizations are following the regulations and the laws where they are, because usually in cybersecurity, we say you use the law closest to where you're collecting your data. So if you're in a certain area, in a certain company, then in a certain jurisdiction, geographically or otherwise, then you have to follow the law of the land. So following the laws in that place is so important, and it's an entry-level role where you can be a role like a compliance officer, and then you can actually help the company get into making sure that they're following the security laws where they're located. Two more we're going to talk about: technical support specialists, which is people that start the support roles and then transition to security by learning the security basics on the job. So you come in first as a technical support specialist, either supporting from a help desk point or tech support or whatever it is, and then you learn security and then you grow your career into the cybersecurity aspect of things. And then fourthly, you can be a risk analyst. So this is a role that involves analyzing potential risks and vulnerabilities. So if you're analytical, you've got an analytical mind, this might be a good fit for you. But if you notice that all of these roles, as diverse as they are, they require a different set of skills depending on what the role is. So the truth is, there's a role out there for every personality type. The key is you have to know what your strength is. Know where your strength aligns and use that to get your foot in the door. Now, here's where it gets practical. How do you gain experience without experience? I know people who have said to me, oh, I'm trying to find a job, and the job says I have to have 2 years experience, but I need a job to get experience. But I can't get a job because I don't have experience. So you see, it's like a vicious circle. So how do you get experience? There's a few things you can do without a job that can help you get experience. The first, and which is the easiest and most common that most people do, would be take courses and certifications. There's lots of available courses on different platforms, even free courses. You can take loads of courses, you can take them, check out platforms like YouTube here as well. There are lots of content on YouTube. There's other platforms, Coursera, Cybersecurity, Udemy, or even from the official exam providers. So the ISC2, CompTIA, SANS, they all provide beginner-friendly courses, boot camps, trainings that you can take, or sometimes a little bit of money. But the truth is, the learning you get there can be valuable to opening your eyes to what it is that you're going to be doing in your role in the cybersecurity industry. So it's important that you actually first get those courses. Where you can, get a certification if it's going to help you, particularly if you have experience. But that's a different conversation. If you want to know if certifications are so important, I did a video recently talking about certifications or hands-on training. You can check that video up here to see if it's important, what should you do, certification or hands-on training. But if you're thinking about a certification to take as an entry-level certification, there's also another video I did comparing the two of the basic cybersecurity certifications you can take. I'm going to put a card up here. You can actually look at that and choose either you want to do Security Plus or the ISC2CC, but it's a whole different conversation, and you can check that video out if you're interested in that. The second thing you can do to build experience without having a job is to build yourself a home lab. Now, this is particularly good if you are hands-on, because building a home lab can help you understand cybersecurity concepts in a real-world setting. So you can start with tools like VirtualBox or VMware, which both provide free-to-use tools which you can install on pretty much any computer. So you've got a Windows, you've got a Mac, or you've got a Linux. They allow you to actually install all of those, and you can play with those and actually build your capacity, build your skills in how to deal with real-world threats and challenges as you would if you were in a cybersecurity environment. So that experience in building your home lab, you learn the tricks, you learn the tools, you learn what to do and what not to do, and then you can bring that to bear when you actually get an actual job in cybersecurity. A third thing you can do is open source projects and, CTF challenges. Almost every conference you would go to, you can actually do a capture the flag. There's always a capture the flag competition where you can have various challenges. But even if you don't go to a conference, there's lots of these CDFs available online. There's two very popular ones, Hack the Box and Try Hack Me. They're very popular. They offer a free, fun way to build up your skills, and they allow you to show potential employers that you are serious. And then finally and fourthly, I think it's also important to know that you can actually build experience by volunteering and doing internships. Find out your local cybersecurity professional association, volunteer with them. Find your local nonprofit or small business, volunteer to help them with security. Even unpaid internships actually give you experience on your resume, and you should keep your options open. So now that you've gone ahead, you've learned what you need to know, you know about the different roles, you know what you're interested in, you're beginning to build some experience. What's the next thing you need to do? And I always say one of the biggest things you want to do if you want to build a career in cybersecurity is to network and find mentors, because networking is so huge in cybersecurity. A lot of jobs are filled through referrals, so make sure you are visible. First, join cybersecurity communities. Ask yourself, where are those people who do the things that I want to do? Where do they congregate? They're on LinkedIn, they're on Reddit, they're on Discord. They're also members of professional organizations like ISACA, ISC2, or even local meetups like B-Sides, where you can meet other cybersecurity professionals. Go to these events, let them know you, get to know people, speak to them about what you're interested in, and make those connections, because those will help you. Then also you want to attend conferences, attend webinars, because both in-person and online conferences are gold mines for networking. Local security meetups can also be invaluable. Remember that these events aren't just for experts. Beginners are also welcome, and you can make a great first impression if you just go to the right conference. You just might land a role from that. And then finally, always reach out for informational interviews. So reach out to people on social media platforms like Discord or LinkedIn, because the truth is, people in cybersecurity, we love talking about the things we do because we want to pay it forward. So don't be shy. Reach out on LinkedIn or Discord or Reddit and ask someone if they'll be open to a 15-minute coffee chat. Have a chat with them. Tell them to tell you the story of how they got started. What can you learn from that? And those can help you also decide what are the things you need to do to also get your big break and get that first job you want to get in cybersecurity. So now that you've done all of these things, now you have to make yourself stand out to employers. So what are the things you need to do when you want to stand out to an employer? First, build a portfolio. All the projects you're doing, all the things you're getting involved with, document those projects, your labs. Any practical experience you've gained, either it's volunteering or volunteering at the local nonprofit or at a conference, record all those experiences. Either it's on a simple blog or a LinkedIn post, but showcasing what you've done and what you can do always makes a big impression. So always do that. And then highlight your transferable skills. Because even if you're switching fields from a different environment completely into cybersecurity, there's always skills you can bring along to you to help you here. So for example, have you got experience with project management? It's very useful in cybersecurity. Do you have experience with data analysis? That's another thing we can use here. Are you a great communicator? Communicators are so invaluable in cybersecurity. So make sure that these stand out on your resume. And then finally, you have to be on point with personal branding. Consistently share your journey on LinkedIn. I always recommend, if you're going to make one social media platform your go-to place for professional growth and development, make it LinkedIn. I'm not being paid to say this, but personal branding on LinkedIn is so important. And I know people who have gotten job offers just by people reaching out to them on LinkedIn and say, hey, do you want this job? It happens every day. And that's because they put themselves out there on LinkedIn. They showcase themselves. They showcase their journeys. They tell their stories. They build their personal brand on LinkedIn. It shows their dedication. It helps you keep you top of mind for potential recruiters. And that way they always remember you. And that's a wrap. So I hope this episode has shown you that there are many ways you can break into cybersecurity. No matter your background, remember, it's all about persistence, continuous learning, and putting yourself out there. It's a journey, so don't get discouraged if things don't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. So if you found this episode helpful, please consider sharing it with anyone you know who's interested in cybersecurity. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, leave them down in the comments below, or you can reach out on social media on our handles. You can also find all our social media handles in the comments below. And thank you for tuning in. And until next time, keep learning and keep securing. This is Femi, signing out.